The best thing I ever did for my mental health was make sure I was surrounding myself with people I felt connected with.
Start meditating.
Not compromise on exercise. And have I been perfect about it? Absolutely not. But I will say that when I'm sticking to regular exercise, whatever that movement is, even if it's just a walk, that has been the best thing.
Letting myself be free.
We all experience shifts in our mood.
Sometimes we're up, sometimes we're down.
But occasional mood changes in bipolar disorder are very different.
For most people, a shift in mood might last a few hours.
But if you have bipolar disorder, the shifts can last for days, even weeks.
Often with huge changes in your behavior.
These are called mood episodes, and there are two main types.
Manic episodes are often characterized by extreme elation, as if nothing can ever go wrong.
You're high on life.
Or you may feel so wired and energized that it's actually uncomfortable, and you feel like you have more energy than you know what to do with.
Depressive episodes are the opposite. You may feel extremely sad or hopeless.
You may be unable to sleep or sleep too much. You might even contemplate suicide.
There are also episodes with both manic and depressive symptoms. These are called episodes with mixed features.
You might feel sad and empty and simultaneously feel intensely energized.
In each case, bipolar mood episodes can be seriously disruptive to your life.
The type of bipolar disorder that you're diagnosed with is based in part on the type of episodes you experience. Thankfully, you can live a full, healthy life with bipolar disorder.
Each type is treatable, even the most severe forms, generally through a combination of psychotherapy and medication.
The first step to taking control of your bipolar disorder is to talk to your healthcare provider.
Together, you can develop a plan that works for you.
None of my friends at school knew why I left school. They never knew that I was in the hospital. I was ashamed to even talk about it. I was an athlete. I was, popular, and I was a Black man. Those types of things are not things that we actually go through. So I've been living with bipolar disorder for 14 years now. Even as a younger child, I had issues dealing with anger and then also sleeping. We never really associated me not wanting to be bothered with people or me wanting to stay in my room for extended periods of time as, a symptom of depression. My initial break where I realized that I needed some actual real help was my sophomore year in college. I suffered a knee injury playing football and went through a period where I had surgery. I really was secluded in my room then because I never left my room, didn't go to class. That started that cycle of me having racing thoughts. I didn't sleep for about 2 weeks. Over a matter of 6 weeks, that's when I lost about 25 pounds. My mom, she could tell that something was going on with me just by my voice. They took me to the hospital. Initially, when I got the diagnosis, receiving it from someone who don't necessarily look like you or that you don't really trust, it kind of went in one ear and out the other. My first thing was I couldn't be me. For men at a very young age, we tell them, do not cry. You can't show any type of emotion. It's a weakness for you to do that. Especially as Black men, you're a target in so many different avenues. I'm gonna go back to trying to do the same things that I was doing before to try to get by. I self-medicated with alcohol. I was going through a fifth of tequila every other day, and I did that for over 3 years. At the time, though, I had my best grades, and I was holding down a full-time job at the same time. No one were the wiser that something else was really wrong with me, and I was tearing up inside. I attempted suicide 3 times, attempted to overdose on pills twice, and last time I put a gun on my head and pulled the trigger, and it jammed on me. That was my actual wake-up call saying that I'm ready to accept help. Once I started back treatment and understanding what bipolar disorder looked like for me, I wanted to share with others and learn what the clinical aspect was like. That's what prompted me to go get my master's degree. But then also, while I was in my master's degree program, I started to read things and I was like, yo, this is not going to work with the population that I want to serve. Because I know my people are not participating in a lot of research studies. I wanted to challenge it to actually be inclusive of my people. My motto is be who you needed when you were younger. I needed someone that looked like me, someone that was able to relate to me without even always verbally communicating certain. The individuals that I work with, man, we're not even sitting in my office. We're playing basketball, or we're in the gym working out, or we're going to the park, and creating an atmosphere where they feel comfortable. Although you have this particular diagnosis, you can still be happy.
I felt like for a really long time when it came to treatment, I was a diagnosis and not an individual.
Dr. Sportelli, I'd love it if you could talk a little bit about treatment options and just sort of walk us through what some of the options are and how they range.
When someone's in acute mania, we need to slow that down. And we do have some psychopharmacology ways to do that. And pretty much the gold standard at this point is a mood stabilizer. The other option would be a group of medications called antipsychotics. And I know they're called antipsychotics, but they do help with bipolar quite a bit. These medicines also can bring down that manic episode and give you a firmer footing and a foundation to work on the other aspects of your life, right? The pills, the medication helps. There is no doubt that it helps. But you have to change your lifestyle. We know that exercise helps when you're in a depressive phase, 20 or 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise each day, getting outside, having family support and peer support, and surrounding yourself with the right people who are educated about bipolar disorder works. So we do have a lot of options.
The treatment that has worked for me is getting on medication, but that journey getting to medication took way too long. So part of my treatment and the way in which I work with my doctors, it's really a collaboration where I have a voice. For treatment options, medication, I experimented. I was very assertive with my doctors. If I wasn't feeling it, I went back in, and if I didn't feel that they were seeing me and listening to me, I found someone else. And now I have found that team and it's great. One of the biggest things is for treatment is peer support and support groups. I go to support groups 3 times a week and I need my people, and they're like a reflection to me because we have this bond. And when you can see other individuals like you that talk about it, that is really what has helped me on my journey and accepting it and getting and staying on medications. But then again, of course, also lifestyle and all of that. But I think that community is something that is part of treatment, and that's pivotal to your success as someone living with a mental illness.
Right.
Unlike Hannah, I was not forward about my choice in healthcare and physician early on. I was very passive about that early on. I didn't have the capacity to be my own, be in my own corner for that. I lucked out and I got reassigned to a doctor who really was on top of it, cared a ton, was willing to explore things, ask questions. And I'll tell you, one thing I learned from interacting with her is that you just have to arrive at a place in your mind. Again, this is that mindset where you need to believe and actually act as though you are your doctor's best patient. You pay attention, If something's not working, you communicate, you try, and then you keep it all moving. Like you always keep the appointments booked. You always touch base. If you're not going to make it, you always book the next appointment. It's like so beneficial to put that effort into that relationship because it's going to trickle down into everything else.
Some people you got to love from a distance, and some people you got to love them right out the door.
How do we navigate and move in the world? And how do we take our mask off and where do we do it? And, you know, one of the things that we talk about in the book, and Courtney, you and I talk about, you know, personally, is that we have to have a tribe. The whole world is not going to embrace us. First of all, it doesn't deserve our sacred stories. That's number one. And even if they want to know it, the truth of the matter is we must find and create a tribe, a small tribe of people who we can tell our whole stories to.
Everybody doesn't need to be in your inner circle. You can't take everybody with you. You can't, everybody's not going to be able to, you can't travel with everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's a lesson that, you know, a life lesson. My wife and I always say, there's some things they're going to learn, they're going to get in the house, but there's some things they're going to get out in that world. And hopefully those lessons don't, you know, take them down a pathway that they can't recover from.
And I think what you're also saying is that some relationships are lifetime, but we need to check the expiration date. We need to check, just like we do on medication and on food, there are relationships, and that can even be with immediate family. If someone isn't good for us, it doesn't mean we hate them or they hate us, but there is a journey of deciding who it is that belongs around our table, in our ear.
None of this is a quick fix. It doesn't start at all. It just gets worse if we don't talk about it.